To begin with, I must express my sense of gratitude to the organizers, particularly Dr. Rajesh, to invite me to talk on this topic. And it is my privilege to be in front of my teachers, Dr. Devarari, from whom we have learned a lot in the field of neonatology in different workshops, though he had not been our regular teacher. So thank you, sir, to be here. So the topics we will cover are introduction, then antenatal management, optimal care in labor room, management in postnatal ward, monitoring in NICU, how to maintain temperature, asepsis, how to do oxygen therapy, fluid electrolytes, feeding and nutrition, nutritional supplement, gentle rhythmic stimulation, and certain management of problems in preterm babies, immunization follow-up, survival and long-term outcome. So a lot has been discussed on all these topics in last 2 days. We all know that low birth weight infants are our great problem. 40% of our total infants in the developing world, they are from India only. And our low birth weight may be LGA, it may be SGA, or it may be AGA, or adequate for gestation. We all know that if the weight of the baby is less than 10 percentile of the expected weight for the gestation, we call it SGA. So we can have as low birth weight babies, maybe preterm, maybe term, or it may even be post-term. So the management of low birth weight should start from the antenatal period, and the mother is supposed to be the ideal transport incubator, and she should be transferred or referred to the place of confinement where the center is well equipped for good obstetrical as well as neonatal care. So that is very important. And if possible, the premature labor should be arrested by giving rest, sedation, topholytic agents. So all these things are being done by obstetrician. And then sometimes we need to assess lung maturity. Most of the time in resource limited places, the topic on which I am to discuss about, we don't do it by doing LS ratio or by doing amniotic fluid phosphatidylate glycerol level estimation. But the very important thing is the role of antenatal steroid. So that is very, very important, and that should be given to all the pregnancies with less than 34 weeks of gestation, with betamethasone 12 milligram intramuscular, 24 hourly, 2 doses, or the different schedules are there. So antenatal steroids are the very important thing which has got definite role in the prevention of RDS, in the prevention of IVH in the preterm babies. And in the labor room itself, the baby must be attended by an experienced and competent neonatologist fully prepared to resuscitate. Means there are many pediatricians, I don't talk negative, but they may not be very tuned of resuscitating the newborns in their day-to-day life, so they can't do it. And delay of clamping of cord should be done if the baby is born crying, which improves iron store and decreases the incidence and severity of HMD as well. So delaying clamping of cord and attended by an experienced neonatologist who is tuned of resuscitating the babies in their day-to-day practice. In the labor room, the things have to be done very promptly. The baby should be dragged, covered, and warmth should be given by some warming source. And it is always better to resuscitate a premature baby with a T-piece resuscitator because of the fact that it delivers PEEP as well, means peak in expiratory pressure as well. And we know that the compliance of lung in the premature babies, that is poor because of that the baby's lungs alveoli tend to collapse during the period of expiration. So this T-piece resuscitator helps in keeping the lungs inflated during the period of expiration. And elective intubation and prophylactic surfactant administration in ELBW babies, particularly the gestation of the baby is less than 26 weeks, we have already talked yesterday. And early CPAP to be started in the labor room itself, and if retraction has developed, and rescue surfactant in NICU, we all know that after 2 to 6 hours, most of the time in our resource limited condition, where we do use rescue surfactant. But even in our places where we see that the patient's gestation is less than 26 weeks, less than 1,000 grams, the parents can afford to give it. They say that there is no problem of money, so we can use surfactant. Surfactant is not available, particularly in our part, in the government institutions, so that parents have to purchase it. And if the weight of the baby is less than 1.5 kg, we need to give 0.5 milligram of vitamin K, otherwise 1 milligram. Then there should be some transfer criteria. Whom to transfer to the postnatal ward, or home care, or to SNCU or to NICU. If the baby's weight is less than 1.5 kg or less than 35 weeks gestation or less than 54 weeks gestation, we should transfer such babies to NICU. And if the baby's weight is more than 1.8 kg or more than 35 weeks of gestation or 34 weeks of gestation, and if it is stable, should be transferred to the mother, but must have a close observation, supervision in postnatal ward. So what you will supervise? So these are the high-risk infants and require more care. So regular feeding 2 hourly should be given, blood sugar should be monitored, and the baby's warmth should be taken care of by proper clothing, if possible under warmer. Then the monitoring of the baby, I must say that a trained nurse is the best monitor. Nothing can replace it. And this frequency depends on the gestation and the clinical status of the mother. And in NICUs, we should have a multi-channel monitor to monitor heart rate, respiration, oxygen saturation, NIBP, UCG, and temperature. If we have that, that's all. Right? Otherwise, we must have a pulse oximeter at least to monitor such babies in our resource limited condition. Then tone activity, cry and reflexes and color should be looked for, and the blood sugar should be monitored 4 to 6 hourly in first day of life particularly. Then tissue perfusion is assessed by looking at the color of the mother, and if see capillary refill time is less than 2 seconds, baby's extremities are warm and thin, there is normal blood pressure, urinary output if it's adequate, and there is absence of metabolic acidosis and lack of disparity between partial pressure of oxygen and oxygen saturation. Again, this metabolic acidosis and lack of this partial pressure of oxygen and SpO2 may not be available in the resource limited place. Then fluid electrolytes like sodium, potassium, calcium, and should be looked for, and tolerance of feed should be assessed frequently. If the baby is intolerant, there will be vomiting, the gastric residuals will be high, more than 30%, abdominal gut will increase by more than 2 centimeters from the previous feed time, and we should always look for the complications which are likely to develop in the babies, low birth weight babies, like respiratory distress, apnea, sepsis, PDA, lactizing enterocolitis, and IBS. The baby should be weighed daily, at least once, and we expect a weight gain after 2 weeks of age that should be 10 to 15 grams per day, per kg per day. The maintenance of temperature is very important. Ideally should be under the servo-controlled warmer, and application of oil, particularly coconut oil, which is available in all the places, at all the places should be encouraged, and extremely low birth weight babies should be covered with a thin transparent plastic sheet or cellophane. Cellophane may not be available at many places, but a thin transparent plastic sheet is available, and we are practicing with this thin transparent plastic sheet. And the baby should be, a stable baby should be fully covered by chalk, caps, socks and mitten. And after 1 week, if the baby is stable and the weight of the baby is less than 1200 grams, we should prefer incubator care because it has been seen that these babies, they do well and there is faster weight gain in incubator. And we should always encourage kangaroo mother care, KMC, in such this LBW babies. So this is how we can keep the baby warm at home, and depending on the weight of the baby, there should be room temperature. Suppose the baby's weight is 1 to 1.5 kg, the room temperature should be around 34, 35, and so and so forth. And the baby should be fully wrapped so that it can prevent loss of heat by different ways like radiation, convection, evaporation, and conduction. And we are seeing that the mother is trying to do this KMC. So this is the way by which we can keep the baby warm, and KMC should be a routine practice in most of the places because it does not need a lot of device. It simply requires motivation and commitment to do it. Then if the baby's weight is less than 1200 grams, we can postpone KMC for first few weeks, for few days to or week. And if it is 1200 to 1800 grams, we can just start it in a day or two. And if the baby's weight is more than 1800 grams, we can start on day 1 itself. So this is keeping warm at home. We are seeing that we can keep such babies very covered, very much covered. And this is a thin plastic sheet we are using, particularly in our places, in prematures and low birth weight, to cover such babies. Then this is a cellophane, so but it is not available in most of the places. One of my friends uses Tagaderm. You see, Tagaderm is quite available in most of the places, and you can have Tagaderm at different places on the body, and that after 7 or 10 days, that peels off itself. So many times you can think that it will stick to the skin, and while peeling it off, you will take out a lot of the skin. But after 7-10 days, you will find that it is peeling off itself. So this is his experience. So you can try with Tagaderm to see whether it is taking out the upper surface of the skin or not. Then keeping warm in the hospital, we know that we have got warmers, and we can have the KMC. You can should keep the room warm by electric heater, and the baby should be fully wrapped. Then we should provide in utero milli in NICU. So create uterus like baby-friendly ecology in nursery. The baby's bed should be soft, comfortable, nested, and cushioned. And we should avoid excess of lights, sounds, handling, and painful procedures as far as possible. Then warmth should be provided. We should ensure sepsis, particularly hand washing, and we should train our the staffs and doctors to do the 6 steps of hand washing what we recommend and do practice. And we should prevent evaporative skin losses by thin sheet of plastic. The safe oxygenation should be given, and early partial parental nutrition, trophic feeds in EBM is the hallmark of treatment. And if we think that the baby is less than 1000 grams, is not going to have sufficient amount of feed in first few days of life, then we will start TPN from day 1. And our usual practice is to do umbilical cannulation on day 1 once we receive the baby as a one of the first procedure, and confirm its position that it is just above the right limb of the diaphragm by doing X-ray, and then we start TPN from day 1 itself. And it is not possible to just not able to give lipid. At least you will start with this amino acids and multivitamins from day 1 itself. Then trophic feeds with EBM has to be given, and the mother should be allowed inside the NICU to provide tactile and kinesthetic stimulation, C2C talk, and slow classical music may be played in the NICU. There should be caressing and cuddling. So these are the things which have got impact on the growth of the baby. The oxygen therapy has to be safe, and preferably we do give with oxygen hood. The SpO2, if it is less than 90 then we do administer oxygen. It was the earlier practice to start oxygen only when it went down to 85% if the weight of the baby was 1000 gram, less than 1000 gram, and other creams 88 to 93%. So it was earlier teaching, but now we recommend that 90 to 94% has to be our target, and if it is less than 90%, we should give oxygen. And then the fluid requirement has to be known and displayed in your NICU at what day, what requirement of fluid it is. So if it is more than 1500 grams, if 660 ml per kg per day, and if you increase it by 15 ml per kg per day till it reaches 150, and if it's less than 1500 gram, we start from 80 ml and we again increase 15 ml per kg per day till it reaches 150. And in all babies of more than 1000 grams, we should start 10% dextrose IV from day 1. In for first 2 days, and subsequently electrolyte, isolate, P solution 4 particularly should be started. And if the baby is more than less than 1000 grams, 5% dextrose should be started, and your fluid requirement may be higher, 8 to 100 ml per kg per day. And these are the ways how you can make different strengths of solution depending upon the GIR, glucose infusion rate required for the baby. And this is how you can assess, know how much percent of oxygen this dextrose is required for your baby, particular baby. And needless to say that breastfeeding is the best for the low birth weight as well. And for that, either direct or express breast milk, whatever is possible, or the baby should be done. There are enough clinical practice guidelines for low birth weight infants. I won't go in detail. This presentation is already available on my website, www.sixisuhospital.com. You can download immediately. So I won't go in details of everything. And the maximum this fluid in a baby may be up to 135 to 200. Energy should be 110 to 135. Then protein requirement should be 4.4 to 4.5, and lipid 4.8 to 6.6. So these are all, so 3.5 to 4 gram per kg per day. And so then how will we start feeding, or in a baby if it's less than 1200 grams or less than 30 weeks of gestation, we should start. I said that it's IV fluid to start with, and if possible gavage feeding if the baby is not much sick by NG tube or OG tube. And after 1 to 3 days we should start gavage, and subsequently cup and spoon feed and breastfeed. So we have got these guidelines how to start feeding in such babies, low birth weight babies. Then trophic feeds we talked 1 to 2 ml 6 hourly can be started from day 1 once the baby is stable, and if the gestation is more than 34 weeks, such babies you can start breastfeeding or through OG tube, we have already talked about. And TPN or partial TPN, parental nutrition in LBW through UVC, we have talked about. Then, so if abdomen is soft and there is minimal aspirate, the stool is fast, start EBM. So it should be started, if you think that everything is okay, then 20 ml or 20 to 30 ml per kg per day from day 1, and subsequently we should increase by 20 to 30 ml per kg per day. That is the routine practice, and depending upon tolerance, that we should reduce the IV tube dose and remove feeding tube once the baby has reached at least baby is ready to feed orally on breast of the baby. So far as nutritional supplement is concerned, it should be given to the less than 1.5 kg babies once full enteral feed has been achieved and baby is not getting sufficient weight gain. So in that condition we should start HMF, and if the baby's weight is more than 1.5 kg who do not receive HMF, particularly we should give calcium 150 to 200 milligram per kg per day. This is usually we do not give this much amount in whatever prescriptions we are finding. So we should calculate the weight and exactly we should give such dosage. And phosphate 80 to 100 milligram per kg per day. So that should be given. Phosphate, many calcium preparations they don't have. So in some preparations only both are present in 2:1 ratio. So that preparation should be preferred. Multivitamins ideally should be started from 2 weeks of age, and iron 2 to 3 milligram per kg from 2 weeks once STD weight gain has started, and vitamin A 15 milligram per day should be started. So there is gentle rhythmic stimulation. These are the things.
Only 2 minutes left.
Okay, sir. So useful tactile stimulation, vestibular, kinesthetic stimuli, soothing auditory stimuli, and visual inputs, they all have a good effect on the growth of the babies. So there are certain things which can be prevented in the prematures by like nosocomial infection by hand washing and high index of suspicion, hypothermia by thermoneutral environment, RDS by antenatal steroid and surfactant, aspiration in the baby by trained nurses. PDA should be avoided by avoiding overinfusion, chronic lung disease by use of minimum air pressure in assisted ventilation, PIV should be kept at lower side, and in LBW vitamin A use has been advocated a lot. Steroids should be avoided for the risk of causing neuromuscular disability. Next should be avoided by EBM, avoiding hyperosmolar feed, giving trophic feeds very early, and avoid overinfusion. Then IBS should be avoided by antenatal steroid, rough handling, excessive CPAP, avoid bolus administration of soda bicarb, screen for IVF by ultrasound on day 3 and 7. ROP should be, we should screen all babies less than 1.75 kgs, less than 34 weeks, maintain partial pressure oxygen below 90, and avoid excessive light and blood transfusion. Feeding human milk is supposed to prevent ROP. PBL should be screened, as we talked about. Neonatal hyperbilirubinemia is common. We should treat early, and usual guideline for starting phototherapy and doing exchange transfusion. Apnea of prematurity, a lot has been talked about. Caffeine citrate, so should be looked for and it should be treated. Then renal function is poor in preterms, particularly less than 34 weeks, and we should look for the electrolytes, metabolic acidosis. These are the things which can be present. Then late metabolic acidosis cases, we should restrict fluid up to 3 protein by 3 gram per day, and we should avoid formula feeds. Anemia of prematurity, we should monitor hemoglobin and prophylactic RNM, oral vitamin A once full enteral feed is there. PRBC may be required, and so far as vaccines, in resource limited condition, we will recommend that all vaccines including BCG, OPV, and hepatitis B should be given at discharge. But the ideal is that if hepatitis weight becomes 2 kg, you give hepatitis B. If the age becomes 1 month, you give BCG. So in NICU, your baby is not exposed to the environment, not exposed to these infections. So you can give at the time of discharge. And we should follow up such cases for ROP, for hearing, and survival depends upon gestation and weight of the at birth, and center to center depending upon the skill and care which can be offered there. There are long-term outcomes in such premature babies. Poor outcomes can be there, like cerebral palsy, seizures, ROP, hearing, minimal brain dysfunctions, poor physical growth, chronic lung disease, increased postnatal illness, and re-hospitalization is quite common because these babies can be brought with aspiration or with some infection. Thank you very much.
Thank you for nice presentation. Now come for next session. Please.